Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today I am here with a bit of advice to answer a bunch of questions that a whole bunch of people have been asking me, very similar questions, and basically the advice is stop overpaying for Japanese booster boxes, because frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I keep seeing people overspending. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that Japanese booster boxes are actually really quite cheap. They are not terribly expensive at all. They are, well, honestly, far cheaper than we kind of pay for cards over here. So, a booster box of Battle Region, as an example, should be retailing for 5,200 yen. Now, 5,200 yen... And again, we're rounding a little bit here, so, let's be a little bit sensible. But we're talking somewhere in the region of $45 or about 34 English pounds. If you went to Japan, you walked into a Japanese shop and they had boxes out, that is how much you would be paying for a box. And bearing in mind, I know, a year or two ago, we were talking a lot about the fact that everything was sold out everywhere. And at that point, trying to pick up Japanese boxes pretty much anywhere was actually a massive pain in the neck. And at that point, yeah, I grant you that was a real pain to get hold of. That's not really the case anymore. Japanese boxes are really not that difficult to get hold of compared to what they used to be. And generally, the price I seem to see people selling them for on Facebook, on these reseller websites, is somewhere in the region of £70. Sometimes just a teensy bit higher, but generally speaking, you're talking somewhere in the region of about £70. Now, I just told you that these should be £34, so you're paying double. Well, that's not terribly cheap, ladies and gentlemen. And don't get me wrong, right? These have to be brought over from Japan, so there is a certain amount of postage that needs to be paid. If you actually picked them up, if you actually paid £34 or you actually paid $45, that would be ridiculous, given that, you've got to pay all the postage. But if you head on over to eBay over in the US, you are spending about $85 on a booster box. I know one of the ones on the screen there does say $66, which looks cheaper, but actually there's $20 postage, so yeah. The cheapest one on there is $84.80. The one on the top has $10 shipping, so it's actually $95. So you're paying about $85, that is quite a lot. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, it is easier for me to talk in terms of English prices and talking about bringing them over from Japan to England, but generally speaking, the theory holds here quite nicely. So, yeah, we'll be alright. But we're going to largely be using, English prices, etc., just because it's a little bit easier. If we head on over to English eBay, we see basically what I just told you. £72, but with postage at 75, 72.50, and 68 quid. The cheapest you are going to be paying for these is around about 68 quid. That's quite a lot, ladies and gentlemen. That's quite a lot. So, where should you go instead? Well, there are a couple of options. Now, one of the options is a bit of a pain, I grant you. But there are third parties you can use, what we call proxy addresses. Now, personally, I use Tenso. Let me be perfectly clear about this. These are a pain to use. They are awkward. It's very easy to make mistakes. If you make mistakes, you won't get your product. They will just kind of get lost or sent to the wrong place, and you will be out of pocket. If you are comfortable using a website like Tenso, essentially, it sets up a proxy address, and then you order products from Japanese websites that you can generally get at around about RRP, and then it sends them to a Japanese address, and you will pay just a tiny bit over the actual postage cost. They will send it to you for cost with a little bit of fees on top, but it's really not that unreasonable. I use Tenso and get on very well with them. However, there have been a couple times where products have not appeared in my Tenso account and I've had to go and chase them up, and they've been found, but like I say, it is awkward, it's easy to make mistakes, you have been warned. So that's one way around it, and quite frankly, if you can sort out a Tenso account for yourself, you can probably sort out some Japanese websites to buy them from. Knowledge of the language is a plus, though for Tenso not essential. And just to be clear, I use Tenso as an example just because it's the one I happen to use. There are plenty of other proxy addresses. I am not endorsing Tenso. I am not saying you should use them. I am not sponsored by them. It may very well be there are other ones out there which are better. I use it as an example, and just to be clear, nothing more. But one of the things you can do, and this is a trick I probably shouldn't give out in a video because this might come back to bite me, just go on Amazon. And I don't know why this isn't kind of like a standard thing, because I ordered a couple boxes of Battle Region, and I paid, in total, just about 16,000 yen, 15,958. That's for 2 booster boxes, including shipping. And 15,958 yen comes down to around about £105. So £52.50 a box. Yes, obviously that is a little bit more than RRP, and that's a little bit sad, but considering most of the third-party resellers are asking for £70 a box, I've just saved myself £20 a box. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, yes, they're coming from Japan, but they don't take that long to get here. It's taking like a week. I placed the order on March the 4th. They should be arriving on March the 11th, which is in the past as you listen to this, but in the future as I record it. And to be honest, they were delayed a day. They should have been here today. They should have taken 6 days. And that's really not very long to wait at all. And I paid significantly below what I would have been paying just going to a third-party reseller. I mean, right now, the price has actually come down a little bit. If I go right now and buy a single box, just a one-off box, I will be paying £47.10. Yes, it's slightly annoying that the price has come down since I bought them, I grant you. And this is another thing about Amazon Japan. The price you rarely pay RRP, although actually at the moment it's really not very far away. But it does vary and change kind of day to day. It's a little bit awkward. It's a bit of annoying, if I'm honest with you. But right now I can go and buy a box of Battle Region on Amazon, shipped, and one of the good things about Amazon is they do include all the fees, etc., so you won't get hit with import fees when they arrive. Not a guarantee, that's been my experience. If you do get hit by import fees, don't blame me. I am telling you my experience, not making a guarantee. I did teach law for many years. And what we've got here is just, £47.10 rather than £70. And I'm sorry, but why are you paying £70 for a booster box? Makes no sense. Essentially, you're just giving a third-party reseller, somebody on Facebook, a decent profit to make your life easier. And I've said this many times in many different videos. If you want to go and buy on Facebook because it's quick and easy and you don't mind paying a little bit above, you go for it. I have absolutely no issue with that. I'm just saying that if you are a little bit more careful and you look around a little bit more, you'll generally find some better prices. I mean, right now, Japan to UK, it's not a website I've ever used, it's not one I can condone or whatever, but they're one of these third-party reseller websites that does, they're shipping from the UK, so you don't get any import fees, etc. Although, like I've said, my experience of Amazon is you don't get on there either. But they are selling booster boxes of Starbirth, which obviously is not now the most recent Japanese set, it's the one before. And they've just dropped their prices. So now rather than paying £70 for a booster box, you're paying £60. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier on in the video. And again, I can't guarantee this is going to be the case moving forward. But what we've seen for the last few months, the last few sets over in Japan, is that the prices are coming down. And it is becoming way easier to actually find these boxes if you have a little bit of patience. The last set before that, the last main set at least, was Fusion Arts, which again has been dropped on Japan to UK to £60. And that's still a little bit more than you'd probably be spending over on someone like Amazon if you found a decent price. But again, Amazon fluctuates wildly. You don't always get a good price on Amazon. You do sometimes have to try a little bit and be a little bit patient. And this is why I say if you want to use the third-party resellers because it's easy, then by all means do so. But if you wait a little bit, you can pick up some of these boxes for quite a bit less than you would otherwise be spending. Wait a couple of months, wait for the hype to die down, wait for another set to be released, and oh look, all of a sudden they've dropped from £70 down to 60, And that's clearly a rather nice thing indeed. And this is basically the point I'm making here. If you want to be going around with your proxy addresses, and that is a minefield in terms of actually making mistakes, so like I say, you take on the risk if you do that, then you're going to save a bit of money. If you sit on sites like Amazon Japan, and that's just an example, there are others, you sometimes have to wait, but you can often find a very good price on there. Right now, there is absolutely no excuse to be going and paying £70 in the UK for a booster box of Battle Region, because you can go and pay 50 quid or a little bit less, to be honest with you, just by going on Amazon. And it does not take long to set up an Amazon account. So this is just striking me as it's just a little bit weird, ladies and gentlemen. Just a little bit weird. And then, of course, you can just wait, and a lot of these third-party resellers are now starting to drop their prices when the next set comes out, and things are not selling out like they used to. I am not promising that they could sell out. Again, it's a risk you take. My point is there are other options, and frankly, I wanted a couple of boxes of Battle Region, but I was not willing to spend 140 quid on a couple boxes of Battle Region, so I didn't. And it really didn't take me long to find an easier way to do it. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, or at least a cheaper way, not really easier, but definitely cheaper. That's what I came to tell you. That's my news for today, and now it's over to you guys. Do you have an interest in Japanese booster boxes? Do you buy them? Where do you buy them from? Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.